All right, let's talk about a grammar puzzle that trips up pretty much everyone at some point, subject-verb agreement. We're going to focus on how to get it right in those long, complicated sentences where the subject and verb feel like they're miles apart. Let's dive in.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start by looking at why this is a problem in the first place. Then, I'll give you a super simple 3-step method to find the real subject. We'll practice it a bit, and then we'll tackle some of the trickiest grammar traps out there.
But hey, before we get into all that, let's start with a quick little challenge. I'm about to show you 2 sentences. Just trust your gut. Which one sounds correct to you?
Okay, is it A or is it B? Don't worry if you're not 100% sure right now. I promise you, by the end of this, the right answer is going to feel completely obvious.
So, what makes this so difficult sometimes? Well, it's what I call the subject-verb separation problem. You get all these extra words and phrases that just wedge themselves right between the subject and its verb, and it creates this maze of confusion.
I mean, the basic rule couldn't be simpler, right? A singular subject gets a singular verb. A plural subject gets a plural verb. The dog barks, the dogs bark. Easy. But then life and sentences get more complicated.
Now, take a look at this. This is exactly where our brains get tricked. You're reading along, and you see the plural word tutors sitting right next to the singular verb helps, and something in your head just goes, wait, that doesn't sound right.
But here's the secret. The real subject isn't tutors at all. It's the singular word feedback. That little phrase in the middle, from the tutors, is just an interrupter. It's a distraction, and its whole job is to throw you off track. But we're not going to fall for it.
So how do we fight back? How do we navigate this maze every single time without getting lost? Well, we need a map. We need a reliable tool to cut through all that noise.
And here it is. This is the absolute core of what we're talking about today. It's a simple, foolproof, 3-step method that honestly works every single time. Step 1, find the verb. That's the action word. Step 2, ask yourself the magic question. Who or what is doing that action? The answer is always your real subject. And then, the crucial final step, just ignore everything else in between. Mentally cross out all those interrupting words. That'll put your subject and verb side by side so you can see if they actually match up.
Okay, that's the theory. But let's see how this thing actually works in practice. We're going to apply it to a couple of tricky sentences right now.
Let's start with this one. It's a really common mistake. You can probably hear that something is just a little bit off, right? Let's figure out exactly why.
Okay, let's use our method. Step 1, what's the verb? The verb is like. Step 2, let's ask our question. Who or what like to cook? It's not the friends, it's one. One is our true subject. So for step 3, we can just pretend that little phrase of my friends isn't even there.
And boom, the answer is crystal clear. Our subject, one, is singular. So the verb has to be singular too. Like becomes likes. One likes. It's a perfect match. See how easy that was?
All right, let's try one that's a little more academic sounding. The interrupter phrase is longer here, but guess what? Our method is just as powerful.
Let's run the play. The verb is has neglected. Who or what has neglected? The studies have, not the subject. Okay, so let's ignore the interrupter on this subject. Now what do we have? Studies has neglected. Studies is plural, so the verb has to be plural too. It should be have neglected.
Okay, you've got the basic technique down. You are ready for the boss level. Let's look at a couple of advanced grammar traps where things get just a little bit weirder.
First up, we've got inverted sentences. These are sentences that are kind of built backwards, where the verb actually shows up before the subject. The biggest clue is that they often start with words like here or there. And just remember, here and there are never ever the subject of a sentence.
So take this sentence. There is many reasons. Our verb is. Now let's ask our question. Who or what is? The answer isn't there. The answer is reasons. And since reasons is plural, it needs a plural verb. So the correct way to say it is there are many reasons.
Next up is something called the proximity rule. This one kicks in when you have 2 subjects joined by the words or nor. And the rule is simple. The verb just has to agree with whichever subject is physically closer to it in the sentence. This table shows it perfectly. In that first sentence, professor, which is singular, is closer to the verb, so we use the singular verb wants. But look at the second one. We just flip them around. Now students, which is plural, is closer, so we have to use the plural verb want.
It's all about what's right next door.
And finally, you gotta watch out for these tricky connector phrases. Words like along with or as well as, they feel like they should work like the word and, right? Like they should create a plural subject, but they don't. They're actually just sneaky interrupters. The verb has to agree with the first subject only.
So let's just recap the one thing you absolutely need to remember. Whenever you're staring at a complicated sentence and something feels off, just use the three-step method. Find your verb, ask who or what, and ignore everything in between. It is your secret weapon for clear writing. You now have the tool you need to untangle even the most confusing sentences with total confidence. So the only question left is, what tricky sentence are you going to conquer first?